Okay, in this demonstration, we are going to move forward and we're going to get the Lightbox working for our gallery. So if you go down to where it says, or go up, I should say, to where it says menu, and we jump down to the portfolio section. This is, by the way, the finished example. Okay, so I'm going to click on this, and this is the effect that we're looking for. So before, and we should be able to scroll through these. And then it also shows you a caption down here and how many images are in the set. Before, what we were able to do is click on it and it would just open a new window with an image and bleh, not interesting. So this is going to be the effect that we're looking for. Okay, right now, this is what we have on our other page, just these green placeholders. What I did is I went ahead and in my exercise folder, you're going to notice before I told you to make a portfolio folder, we're going to keep the portfolio images separate from the normal images. This images folder is mainly going to be for decorative graphics or infographics on the website, whereas the portfolio is where the work is going to go. So what I went ahead and did is I went ahead and populated it with more than just the green placeholder and the green placeholder thumbnail. I went ahead and put some other stuff in, and they're not my pictures, even though the aerial photograph on the opening viewport is mine. The rest of these are just things that I kind of yanked off of Morguefile for the demonstration. So thank you to all the artists who gave us the option to use these. Okay, so what I did was I created thumbnails that are 200 by 150 out of these larger pictures. And I went ahead and I also resized some of these. If you download stuff from Morguefile, or if you have your own photographs that are like raw files straight off of a really nice camera, then they're going to be way too big. I would suggest that maybe you limit them to a maximum size of maybe 1200 width or 1600 width if they're wide images. If they're tall images, I would limit them probably to somewhere around 1,000, and maybe a little bit more than that at the most. Because the thing is that if these are too big, it's going to feel like your Lightbox is broken because it's going to take forever in a day to load. So what we're going to do now that we've got the images in the portfolio, and that's what you should, if not have already done, you should be doing before you really get too much further with this, is I want to take you to a page that you need to go because you're going to download some files. So where it says, first of all, just do a Google search and look for the word Lightbox 2. You can just run it all together. And the second hit that you're going to get is the one that I want you to go to. It's this guy who develops this Lightbox tool, and he keeps this up. And so this is a really nice one because it is constantly updated whenever new stuff comes out, like with HTML5 and JavaScript and stuff. It's always updated. So you can just click the download link if you want, but if you scroll, he gives you some examples. So this is if you just do individual pictures. We're going to do sets of pictures. So if you click on one of these, you get the effect where it opens. And then because of the way that you can set your files up in the HTML, you can tell them to be part of a group so that it'll know to keep scrolling through the group. Okay, and so pretty much that's what we're going to do is use that. And you see he tells you also how to use it. So what I want to do is go ahead and have you download the file, and it's going to ask you where you want to put it. And I strongly recommend that you are careful not to save it anywhere inside of your exercise 5 folder or whatever you're calling what you're working on. I would put it somewhere like on your desktop that's separate from what you're doing, because I don't want you to get confused later. A lot of times people will just download their JavaScript testing stuff right into the working files that they're using, and it gets really muddy. So I'm going to save it straight to the desktop. Okay. And I'm on a Mac, so I can just click this. On PC, you'll probably have to right click it to extract it. And I'm going to go ahead and open my desktop view, and here's my Lightbox, and here's the extracted folder. So I'm going to go ahead and open this, and let's see what we've got in it. And what you're going to realize that when you look in here that it has is the exact demo that this page also is. So if I just move this out of the way and I double click this, you'll see that it opens it up and it looks like the exact same page, and that's because it is the exact same page, but the difference is that, see here, it's using the file protocol, meaning that it's archiving, or it's annexing it right off of your file, whereas this one is on the web. Okay, so he basically has an exact replica of what's on the web in the download capabilities. So what I'm going to show you how to do is kind of to pull pieces and parts of this out in conjunction with his instructions on how to use it. So the first thing he tells you to do is to go ahead and download and install the jQuery library, which we've already done, so we don't have to mess with that. But what we do need is we need to add a script for his library, and his library is over here. Okay, now you'll notice in this HTML right here that he tells you to put up inside of your HTML document is that he references it as linking to a folder called js slash and then the file lightbox.min.js. That's good because it's in the same path directory, right? This index file that this would be located inside of is in the same path directory as our index file in relationship to where the JS folder is located. So at least we aren't going to have to, do any kind of monkeying around in this case with the file pathways. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this JS folder up that he has, and he's saying that we're only using lightbox.min.js. So that's the only one of these that I'm going to copy, and it's right here. So if I go here and I say copy, then I can go ahead and I can open a new window, and I can go into my exercise 5 folder and then into my JS folder, and then this is where I'm going to paste that Lightbox file. Okay, so, and if you need to double check where you're located, at least on a Mac, I can right click up here in the title and I can see where I'm located. So this is my exercise 5 folder, whereas this is, the Lightbox thing that's on my desktop. And on Windows, you can also look at the pathway up at the top of your window, your Explorer window. Okay, now in his instructions, he said, okay, on step 3, look inside the CSS folder. Wait, hold on. One thing in step 2 that we didn't do, I just talked about it, is I didn't actually put the script in my index file. So I'm going to copy this, okay, and all this does is load this file. I'm going to go down here, and this, it's important. It has to be somewhere after the actual script for the jQuery library gets loaded. All right, so because it's dependent on that library. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to load it at the very bottom after the last no script, because it's literally the least important thing on the page in terms of time for loading. It doesn't need to load until everything else is loaded, because you're not going to be scrolling down to portfolio until the other JavaScript is working probably anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and paste my Lightbox script tag there. All right, I'll save that. And let's go back to the instructions. Now we can look about the CSS. And he says, okay, let's go ahead and put this link inside of your file. Now, this I do want you to notice. In our file, we're not using a CSS folder so far. But if you want to just make it just easy and consistent, so that you're not having to be confused by changing file pathways and stuff, go ahead and just copy this, and we're going to keep his folder structure. We're going to copy this, and you can't put this at the bottom of the page. This has to go up in the head. So let's go to the head of our document, and down here we're going to load his CSS file. All right, and it can be the last one, that's fine. Typically, the way that these developers write their CSS is that they know that other people are gonna be you know, writing a lot of their own styles. So they try to make styles that are very specific to their tool so that their styles don't interfere with other people's styles. So it's okay for me to put it after. If I did realize that there was something wrong, then maybe I should go and put it up before where I call my styles sheet, but this should be fine. So I'll save that, and now I actually have to go and move the CSS files, and you see that we have a couple in here. He doesn't actually use screen. We can get rid of that in a minute, but I'm just going to take this whole CSS folder that's in his Lightbox folder, and I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to go into my exercise 5 folder. Okay. And there is no CSS folder here, so I'm just going to paste it. Okay. And if you don't want to be confused and you want to get rid of this screen.css, you can, but he's not saying that you need it. You should be able to move it to the trash without any problems. Okay, so now you have the files in place that he needs for CSS and for JavaScript, but in step 4, he's telling you, hey, there are also some image files that you're going to need specifically that are for like the arrows and the close button and stuff like that that are going to work with his tool. So, and he's saying look inside the IMG folder to use that. If you want to be, again, really succinct and simple, we're not using any kind of folder called IMG already in our system. So if you want to go over to his system and just take this whole IMG folder, copy it, and then come over into your exercise 5 folder and then paste it. Now you've got it. Now I do want you to look inside of this IMG folder because there's also another folder in here that we don't want. It's his demonstration pictures that we really don't care about. We don't want these pictures. Okay. I don't know, maybe you do, but I don't want them. So I'm going to take them and I'm actually going to move those to the trash. And I'm just going to be concerned about using his arrow pictures and his loader picture and stuff like that. Okay, and so now in the additional instructions, he tells you how to turn on the ability to use this. And now that the JavaScript is being loaded in that page, it's automatically going to know what to do with these special HTML5 data attributes. Data attributes are special attributes that are special only to HTML5, where basically you get to make up your own attribute name. So you could say data dash anything, and you basically in your JavaScript write something that's going to target a specific data attribute name that you're looking for. In this case, it's Lightbox or data title. Okay. So he's saying if you want to go ahead and make it a Lightbox effect, then you're going to need to go ahead and put the data Lightbox on here. Okay. And this is, by the way, this is the name of the group. So this is saying image 1. Well, in this case, you would say data lot box equals like road trip if that's the album that you want all of your pictures to show up in, so that people can just scroll through them. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to copy this where it says data light box equals road trip. I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to come down into my HTML and I'm going to find my portfolio. And what I want to do is, okay, so I've got my web development stuff already in place. Really all I need to do is I need to go and put as an attribute of my href or my a tag, I need to put that data light box, but I don't want to call it road trip. I'm going to call it like web. Okay, and so now if I copy this data light box, I could go and paste it in all of the other A's. All right, but I'm not going to make you watch me do that. So I'm going to end this demo right here and you can move on to the next.